Hi, my name is Matt, and this is Calm 111. I'll be discussing ADHD, addiction, and trauma. A lot of people do struggle with addiction and trauma and ADHD, and I actually have it and have been through a lot with the symptoms and trying to find the right treatments. And ADHD is a condition that affects your focus, impulse control, and individuals plagued with ADHD often struggle with addiction. And I have a picture of the Tasmanian devil up here because that's what it feels like to deal with ADHD every day. You feel like the Tasmanian devil. And so ADHD is a condition that affects your focus, impulse control. You can go back. And individuals plagued with ADHD often struggle with addiction, but ADHD is linked to childhood trauma and can be best treated with medication and psychotherapy. So pay attention to this young lady in the video. She basically describes ADHD to a T, and Phil from Modern Family is actually going to show us a live example of ADHD and what it's like to deal with. So, there. Okay, ready? Can you hear it?
Listen to these symptoms of ADHD and tell me it's not reality. Easily distracted by irrelevant stimuli. Often impulsively abandons one task for another. A tendency to act without regard to consequences, often at the expense of personal safety. Having accidents more
I think that's enough.
Okay, that's a perfect example of ADHD there, how he got distracted and then followed something and almost fell down. And there actually been a proven fact that those with ADHD are nearly 2 times more likely to be injured, like in an accident. And I think it has a lot to do with that. And it really is kind of funny, the video and everything, but dealing with it every day is actually super difficult. And there's a therapist that says that ADHD is an allergy to boredom. So we need to have things going on all the time. And there's a very little effort that's made to educate the general public about ADHD and the, causes and cures. But there's a guy named Gabor Mate that actually believes that it comes from childhood trauma. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But so ADHD is often linked to addiction. Actually, 30% of adults with ADHD have problems with drug abuse or dependence. And it's usually about self-medicating, trying to deal with the symptoms without going to a doctor. But often things that people say to you when you have ADHD are, how many times did I tell you? Are you actually listening to me? I was surprised when you called. I didn't think you were into me. Why are you always late? That's one thing I hear constantly, and I usually mean to be on time. But so these are common things that people with ADHD hear from others, and that leads to negative self-talk, like I can't do anything right, or I never finished anything. I'm just not very smart. And those are the kind of things that go off in your head when you can't be on time. But so self-medicating happens a lot, and it's fairly standard for an undiagnosed adult with ADHD. And thus, an examination of a person's substance use can actually give you insight to what kind of medications to use. One guy with ADHD said when he smoked weed, it helped kill the white noise in his head, and that's what it's like. It's like you finally find a cure, and then as an addict, you go to the doctor, and because you're an addict, they don't want to give you the medications you need. And one of the leading guys on ADHD is the Gabor Mate guy, and he says that untreated ADHD almost always ends in relapse. So it's very important to get it treated. And ADHD weaves itself into everything from your internal dialogue to your relationships to co-occurring disorders in such a way that untangling it can be a long, frustrating process. And the leading specialist, Mate, says that ADHD is from trauma and it's not a disease. I think it's an interesting concept, but I'm not sure. So basically what he thinks is that if you heal your childhood trauma, you end up dealing with your ADHD. But with adults, it's usually not that simple. It takes a lot of time. The treatments available are behavioral treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy, and what that does is help interrupt thoughts as they come. And then, of course, medication. Stimulants is one of the best things I've found, a non-narcotic option for myself because I have a history of drug abuse, but it works. And then I do treatment. And so those are the best treatments for ADHD. And there's basically, for people who have it, there's hope. You can get help. And the best thing to do is to have medications and the behavioral therapy. But in closing, I'm just going to show a video about the ADHD poster child, Dory. And she's a classic person with ADHD. She forgets. And you see her kind of beat herself up. And that's like a normal everyday thing. And I'm Matthew Mena, and this was my speech. Thank you.
I suffer from short-term memory loss.
Yeah, that's exactly what you say.
Okay. We'll pretend to be the other kids now.
Hi, Dory.
Ahoy there! You want to play hide and seek?
Okay.
We'll hide, and you count and come find us.
Okay, Daddy.
No, not Daddy. I'm the nice fish who wants to be your friend. Okay?
Okay, Daddy.
Now count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4. I like 10.
Thank you.